He smiled. He gave Luffy the hat, and he sailed away. And every move since then has been a 24-year cover-up. Shanks isn't a benevolent father figure, he is a geopolitical shadow broker who knew about Emu and the Void Century, and actively chose to groom a 7-year-old boy into a biological weapon. Welcome back to the archives. Tonight's file declassifies the biggest liar of the Grand Line. But before we begin, it's time for the receipts of the night. Look at chapter 1. Shanks loses his arm and tell Whitebeard, "I betted on a new era. For 2 decades, we thought this was a beautiful sacrifice, but the clinical military analysis revealed it was a calculated psychological anchor." Shanks has haki strong enough to paralyze an admiral from miles away. You're telling me that he couldn't sense a local sea monster? He let his arm be severed to permanently traumatize Luffy into fulfilling a predetermined destiny. If the file is already making you question the Emperor, then that like button is how you declassify the investigation for more people. Let's talk about the sickening privilege of the Figureland bloodline. The fandom loves to say Shanks is so badass even Gorosei respect him. No, they don't respect him as a pirate. They tolerate him because he is a celestial dragon. Shanks walks into the Mary during that time isn't a flex. It is a trust fund kid utilizing his diplomatic immunity. While the rest of the world generation is out there fighting for their lives, dodging buster calls and bleeding for fractions of freedom, Shanks is sipping tea with the man who ordered the Oroa genocide. He plays the role of a free pirate, but he is mathematically operates as an extension of the world government's HR department. He doesn't challenge the system, he manages it. Just think about it. Look at his actual resume. What does Shanks do? He doesn't look for the One Piece. He doesn't liberate islands. He suppresses everyone else. He stops Kaido. He stops the Marineford War. He amputates Eustace Kid's arm to teach him fear. The fandom calls him a peacekeeper. The archive calls him a warden. Shanks has been running a 20-year planetary quarantine. He uses his Conqueror's haki as a localized EMP to systematically laboratize the ambitions of an entire generation. He is maintaining a geopolitical gridlock, freezing the entire board so that no one, not even Kaido, not even Big Mom, not even Blackbeard, can claim the throne before he decides that his groomed lab rat is ready. And this brings us to the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Shanks didn't steal a random fruit from CP9. He knew exactly what it was. He stole the literal god of liberation from the world government. He went to the East Blue to find Ace, Roger's son. He intended to give the fruit to him, but when a 7-year-old Luffy ate it, Shanks didn't panic because he lost a treasure. He had a terrifying realization that the biological vessel has chosen itself. And the exact moment Luffy stopped being a kid in a bar, he became a biological incubator for a weapon Shanks needed to unlock Laugh Tale. But let's pause right here. Look at the pinned comment down below and drop your verdict. Is Shanks a genuine father figure to Luffy, or a cold, calculated manipulator playing the long game? I'll be reading the replies tonight. This brings us to the horrifying shift of Luffy's entire journey. If Shanks knew the truth, why did he let Luffy walk into hell? Because you cannot awaken the sun god by playing it safe. Zone fruits have a will of their own. To awaken Nika, the host's body and mind must be pushed to the absolute brink of human sanity. Shanks didn't protect Luffy, he mathematically allowed Luffy to suffer. He let him be poisoned, beaten, and traumatized. Look at Marineford. Shanks has the fastest ship on the sea. He could have arrived earlier, but he didn't. He arrived exactly after Whitebeard and Ace were dead. Why? Because the old era needed to be mathematically eradicated to make room for the new one. Shanks knew that for Luffy to grow strong enough to awaken Joy Boy, he needed to experience a completely shattering psychological defeat. He used the defeat of Luffy's brother and the final agonizing catalyst to ensure Luffy would train for 2 years, He didn't come to Marineford to save Ace, he came to collect the data of his investment. For 24 years, Shanks waited in the shadows. He didn't make a single move for the One Piece. But the absolute microsecond that Luffy died on Origishima and mathematically forced the Nika fruit to awaken, what did Shanks do? He sat on his ship outside of Wano. Hear me? Hear me? Outside of Wano. Felt the drums of liberation and said, it's time. He didn't go see Luffy. He didn't say hello because he didn't need to. The biological key he groomed for 2 decades had finally been forged in the blood. The quarantine was over. The 24-year life was completed. Shanks is not a pirate. He is the ultimate patient architect. He smiled. He handed over a hat. He encouraged a global war, using a child's dream as the denominator. Luffy thinks he is the freest man in the sea, completely blind to the fact that his entire life was scripted by the man he looked up to the most. Last week, we expected the sickening truth of Binomial Kuma. Tonight's file proved that the ultimate villain might be the one wearing a smile. If these files are worth reading, the archives need more agents. Hit the subscribe and more classified intel drops every week.